It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories, available for delivery. Dan, he last managed in 2014 for the Nationals, where he went 53-87. In 2009, he tested positive for cocaine. Until yesterday, I had no idea he spent the last 7 years in Atlanta as the Braves' third base coach. But Dan, over the weekend, everything changed because at 71 years of age, one of the most poorly run franchises anywhere in sports decided he was their guy. And Dan, just like that, make no mistake about it, Ron Washington is back.
Yes.
Exciting, right?
Very much so.
When I first heard the news, I thought it was a joke. I was snorting with laughter. Ron Washington, line coach. Makes sense. Dan, you can take the field. I'll take Alabama. The Angels are going to love Ron. I'm told he's a real players coach, a guy who loves cutting it up with his players. I'm also told his favorite thing to eat for lunch is a salad. Chopped, of course.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Just, it's going to be all cocaine jokes?
Death, taxes, and Penn State having no timeouts left headed into the fourth quarter of a big game. Ron Washington testing positive for cocaine at the age of 57 and claiming it was the first time he used cocaine. Ron, the Stugotz is strong in you. Ron Washington, this marks progress. The rare black coach to test positive for cocaine who still gets a second chance.
Manager.
Let's hope he doesn't blow it.
Oh.
What happened? James Franklin is now 3-17 against top 10 teams. Little game James. Ron Washington as a player.
Again?
Glue guy. Not many cracks in his game.
How many?
You know what I mean?
How many cocaine jokes are you going to hit Ron Washington?
One might say the positive drug test was just a bump in the road. You seem to agree?
You seem very pleased with yourself.
The only person that thinks James Franklin is a good head coach is James Franklin. Don't tell James Franklin he's not a good head coach. He won't believe you. Jalen Milroe, 2,070 yards passing, 16 touchdowns, 6 picks, 333 rushing yards, 12 touchdowns, 38 touchdowns, 6 turnovers, and 5 games to go. And he's a sophomore. How about that?
Yep.
After he tested positive, I'm told Ron took a long, hard look in the mirror. Dan,
I mean, come
what
on.
happened? It's Ron Washington. It's his day. It's a big day. He's back.
His day was last Thursday.
Well, I mean, my weekend starts on Thursday.
He's also been here.
I mean,
Talking about he's back.
You weren't
He's
watching
back.
the Braves. He was for
the Bravos.
Thank you.
Dan, you know what the J in Jalen and the M in Milroe stands for?
I do not.
They stand for just might be the best Jalen to ever play quarterback at Alabama. How about that? Look up the stats, guys.
No, I've been looking
Sophomore to
I'm
sophomore
literally looking
year.
at
Look
the
it up.
stats right now.
Okay.
Sophomore year, yeah, ran for 12 touchdowns. Jalen also ran for 855 yards and 8 touchdowns.
He's got 5 games to go.
17 touchdowns, 1 pick.
5 to go. That's 2 regular seasons, 2 regular seasons, an SEC championship game.
Have you watched
semifinal and a
any
national
Alabama-
championship?
have you watched
I don't have
any-
to.
Doesn't
I
have
mean,
to. That's the magic of
I'll
his-
watch them in the
That's why
playoffs.
he
They're
always
always
says,
there.
Do
Right.
it against Alabama.
Correct.
That's
He's winning, Mike. He's winning. He's winning.
I guess we shouldn't be shocked. Reports say Ron has been sniffing around for a job for a while now.
Come on.
Too much?
I mean, too much. You're 12 cocaine jokes too many.
By the way, Milroe, bench for a game. Dan, you know what the R in Ron Washington stands for?
More?
It stands for runny nose.
Oh, God.
Jaromir Jagr is going to have his jersey retired by the Pittsburgh Penguins. Top 5 Penguins of all time.
Okay, here we go.
Number 5, and I think Mike agrees. I know Roy does. Tommy Barrasso. Number 4, Jagr. Number 3, Mario Lemieux.
Number 3, huh?
Only funny to 70-year-old people.
Number 2, Ron Say.
There it is. There it is.
And number 1, Burgess Meredith.
Wow.
The original.
Not Danny DeVito, huh?
The original Penguin from
Yeah.
the Batman movies.
Watch out for the T-Wolves. Keep an eye on the Blues. Blues are good.
The T-Wolves are a bit confusing, and the Gobert is the best defensive player in the league. They've got a number 1 rated defensive efficiency, and when the playoffs come, Gobert is not going to be allowed to play.
But Edwards has arrived.
Everyone says that.
Yes.
Everyone
Special.
wants badly for him to be the next. It's not going to be Ja. It's not going to be Zion. They want him to be next, and he's looking like it.
Lionel Messi celebrated his 8th Ballon d'Or, whatever the hell that thing is, with Miami fans.
8 times.
Lionel, do me a favor. Don't celebrate with Miami fans until the thing you are celebrating is winning a title. Thanks.
You already did that once.
Down here?
Yeah.
Which title?
The League's Cup. Made for television.
The made-up
League's
one.
Cup.
8 times, though, he's won Player of the Year. That's crazy, Stugotz.
It is.
8?
It is. It's crazy. It's great. Do it a nighttime. Ron Washington's career record is 664 and 611 with 2 World Series appearances. Certainly doesn't blow, and definitely nothing to sneeze at.
I mean, sneezing is now. So you're just going to take everything in the
when you do coke, you
olfactory
sneeze, yeah.
category. Okay.
I've been told by friends. Jimbo Fisher spent his entire Sunday
Put it on the poll, please, Juju.
laughing all the way to the bank.
Do you sneeze when you do cocaine?
What's this olfactory you keep talking about? Dan, listen, all I can tell you is I have friends who have done cocaine, and when they do cocaine, they tell me they sneeze. That's all I can tell you. That's it.
I've been told that means it's bad.
Dan, you know what the W in Washington stands for?
Still with
It
this?
stands for white lines. Today should be a day of celebration. Today, we should all toot our horns for Ron Washington. I blew that one.
All right.
Blew. You got it? Saved it.
Right.
Yeah, you did. You saved it.
Ron Washington's favorite pitchers are Jimmy Key,
Hold
Matt
on,
Cain.
Hold on, slow down.
happened?
Let us enjoy these.
Okay.
Just slow down.
These you want to enjoy.
Let's
Here
slow
we
down.
are. I mean-
Let's slow down.
Okay.
Jimmy
Favorite
Key,
pitchers, yeah.
Jimmy Key.
Jimmy Key, Matt Cain, Nate Bump, and Phil Koch. Thank you. Tottenham did what Tottenham does. That last one, Phil Koch, right on the nose. The Spurs.
No program in America has covered Ron Washington the way that
Well, well
ours
done.
does 5 days later.
Duke fans making fun of how anybody looks. Look in the mirror. Stugotz making fun of how unprofessional Ron Washington was the last time he was a manager. Look in the mirror. And then give it back to Ron Washington so he could do more cocaine off of it.
I mean,
It's a little bit harsh on Ron.
what are you
He's a
doing?
nice man.
What,
Death,
he's a,
taxes.
He's a nice man, is what you're doing
He
now.
seems,
He is.
it's a glue guy. Nice guy. Bill Belichick's winning percentage without Brady is now lower than Joe Philbin's. Philbs.
Dan Campbell is more valuable right now than Bill Belichick.
The Patriots should have left Bill Belichick in Frankfurt. Fraud. Nobody loves one-score games like the Chargers. Did you hear the stat? They played 100 one-score games over the last 10 years. I was surprised. I thought it was more.
They're always one-score games. It's the entire career of Phillip Rivers. I saw the stat yesterday that Dan Campbell has now almost 100 times gone for it on fourth down in his Lions career.
Somebody want to tell the Michigan coach crying that Jim Harbaugh didn't die? Just suspended for cheating.
You did last segment.
I know. Should have took that one. What can I do? Jimbo Fisher, $76 million buyout. Being a fired football coach is the best job in America.
You have editing power.
I know.
Over the whole thing.
I got it. I should have took. You know what? I didn't. I should have, and I didn't, and I'm upset, and I apologize. Sorry.
How many of these jokes did you use on God Bless Football already?
None. Not
80%.
one. None of the Ron Washington ones.
Oh, that's all fresh to hear. We got the good stuff.
It's a football show.
We
How
got the
could
good
you
stuff. He saved us. He saved the good stuff for us. The Ron Washington stuff right here.
49ers statement game. Don't look now, but there's something special going on in Tucson. Mike agrees.
Jedfish.
That team is good. Offensive juggernaut. Steelers are 6-3. That's all I got. CJ Stroud, it factor. His name should be IT factor. Washington, Utah, not one, but two bad beats. What happened there?
I'd love for some player to be IT Factor.
It's
a great name. Not a good name, a great name.
How about those bad beats with Washington? Oh, boy. Two of them.
Ron?
He dropped the ball before the goal line, Ron. Goal line.
I thought that the Deshaun
Stretch.
Jackson Memorial Award, I thought that he would be the last one to ever drop the ball before the goal line. He did it multiple times in his career. Nope, they're still going to do it.
Another Sunday night, another game for LeBron James. Enjoy an early dinner. Meanwhile, there's a new report out that says Venus has oxygen all over. Just about everything we took growing up is being recalled, and orcas are killing people on boats. Hell is going on. Dan, speaking of hell, Art Briles. Those are the weekend observations.
You know that we just did the weekend observations, and they're presented by Miller Lite. Miller Lite has partnered with us for a great sweepstakes if you're a fan of this show. If you want to win a weekend in Miami for you and 3 of your friends, provided that you have 3 friends, if you listen to this show, maybe that's hard. You'll hang out with us for a taping of our show and get to experience our Monday Night Football watch party. And details on where that watch party will be, I know where it is going to be. It's a pretty cool venue. We'll share all of that in due time. But right now, what I want you to do is enter in this sweepstakes. That watch party, by the way, will be on December 11th, and it's all presented to you by Miller Lite. Enter right now at MillerTimeMiami.com. No purchase necessary. Open to legal U.S. residents age 21 and older. Everything ends on November 16th, so please sign up right now. See official rules at MillerTimeMiami.com. You know, around this time, we do a big festive show outing where you get to hang out with us. We promise you more details on that is coming, but no one's going to experience a better time than our winner of this sweepstakes, so enter right now.
Stugotz, a lot of people are laughing at the Clippers again. The Steve Ballmer experience has been a success from this standpoint, and probably this standpoint only. He's not Donald Sterling, and therefore they are not the echoing laughingstock as a franchise that they've been almost their entire existence. But the backslide of being relevant, trying to take that town from the Lakers, not succeeding, doing bold things, and now Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are going to be free agents after this year. So they traded away everything, Stugotz, for an experiment that includes Russell Westbrook, star power. We're going to be interesting. We're going to have names, but James Harden, since getting there, is like minus 64 in 4 games. They've lost, I think, all 5 games that he's played, including to the Memphis Grizzlies, and he doesn't quite have self-awareness. So when he's asked about in Philadelphia, some of the things that happened, 7 points in Game 7, he was playing with the MVP of the league, and he felt somehow handcuffed and restrained. This is the ego that he goes to the Clippers with.
I don't think... When I meant a leash, I'm not meant just shooting the basketball every time. I meant like I think the game, and I'm a creator on the court. You know what I mean? So if I got a voice to where I can, hey, coach, I see this. You know, what you think about this? Then it's like, oh, okay. Like somebody that trusts me, that believes in me, that understands me, that I'm just not I'm not a system player. I am a system. You know what I mean? So somebody that can have that dialogue with me and understand and move forward and figure out and make adjustments on the fly throughout the course of games, that's all I really care about. You know what I mean? It's not about me scoring the basketball, scoring 30, 34 points. I've done it already, so.
He's not entirely wrong that when he was winning MVP of the league, he was the system around which everything centered, and it distorted his self-awareness that he thinks he's still that player at 33 when he is not.
Did you see him making a cut the other day and then just forgetting what to do after one makes a cut? He makes a cut for the optics of making a cut, and someone bounce passes him the ball, and it bounces off his torso. He's like, oh, I guess I'm with a new team. Let me make a cut right now. And then that's the only part of making the cut he processed. So he then wiped his hands on his soles.
Yeah, this was great.
With the ball in his hands and took a pull-up 3-air ball.
No, and then the rebound came back to him, and he got blocked as the shot clock expired. That play, it was a disaster.
Wasn't the guy that believed he was a system, wasn't it Daryl Morey? Wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
and Mike D'Antoni.
Right, yeah.
And they built everything around him.
It was a minus 28 and a 4-point loss.
He's been truly terrible. But the experiment, Stugotz, has a chance to be epically a failure as the end result. If Kawhi and Paul George both leave and all you're left with is Harden and Westbrook.
He has that brand spanking new arena in Inglewood, which for the Clippers is a monumental achievement, even though it's not on the court.
But you get Russ and you get – I'm not saying this doesn't have the potential to be a disaster. It certainly does.
Oh, yeah, this
but
whole
you get
thing
Russ
has been a
and you get
disaster.
Harden because it's a last-ditch effort, right? Especially Harden.
Yeah.
To try to do something with those two guys before they leave.
Right, but I leave it to this gentleman from Bally Sports Southwest, who's a part of the Mavericks coverage.
A gentleman. This is a person in a suit and a sports coat. We don't know his name. I don't know his name.
Is it Brian Demarez? It's Demarez, I think.
It is. But it's just a general skewering on Bally's of James Harden.
It's Brian Demarez, period. No question mark.
Okay.
That's my mistake. Exclamation point. Yeah. Exclamation point after this.
Well, right. It used to be question mark. It may be not anymore, though. It's a period or an exclamation point as he skewers James Harden.
Ask the producer to pipe this into the Clippers locker room so I can talk to you, James. I hope you're taking notes. I'm telling you in advance, you're welcome for the wisdom I'm about to spew. Because, listen, I get on my knees every night and pray for someone to believe in me like Daryl Morey believed in you. You wanted a certain coach, they brought in Mike D'Antoni. You want to play a certain style, they played it. You wanted Dwight Howard, they brought him in and got rid of him when you were tired of him. You wanted Chris Paul, they brought him in and got rid of him when you were tired of him. They brought in your old friend Russell Westbrook. You want to go to Vegas on off days? They looked away. You wanted the team to stay over so you could go out at night. They changed the schedule, and it didn't work. And you know what? You said, I'm going to break up with my whoopee. Not good enough. I see the bright lights in New York. I want to go there. My old pal, Kevin Durant. It's going to work. The big three. And all after 1 year, you wanted out. You realized, oh, my gosh, I took this guy for granted, the guy that believed in me. I went back with Daryl Morey. They traded Ben Simmons for you. How did they pull that off? And you know what? You went there, and you got a partner who got the MVP. He won the MVP. And what did you say afterwards? You said, they didn't hand me the reins. You're the point guard. You were holding the reins. And what did you do when you had the reins? You scored 9 points in Game 7 against Boston. You blew a 3-2 series lead. So they fired their coach. Not good enough. You broke up with your guy, believed in you again. You said, the bright lights of L.A., that's where I want to go. Let's see if that works. Listen, James, have you ever had those friends who had bad roommates? Over and over, they complained about their bad roommates. This guy's terrible. The bad roommate here. They never thought to be self-aware enough that they're the bad roommate. They're the problem. Hey, James, you're the problem. If this doesn't work this year in this system with this team, then you're going to go and point fingers at everybody else, and you're going to go back home and you're going to start swiping right for another team, and there's not going to be anybody left. Because, James, you're not the beard, you're not the system, you're the problem.
And the mic drop, Devin.
One of my favorite moves is the putting the hand to the mouth so that you can amplify the acoustics of making sure that no words or air get off to the side.
Or Flow Rider.
You are making sure that James
Piped
hears
in
you.
right to James. Yes.
Right.
Was he mad? He seemed quite he seemed like an angry librarian.
composed.
He was very composed.
I'm saying mean things, but yet still sing-songy.
That's right. I can be terribly cruel, but speak like a broadcaster.
I'm the complete opposite of Stephen A. Smith.
So in defense of James Harden after that for a second.
Lord.
Just for a quick second, okay?
Okay.
James Harden seems to me like a guy that just wanted to play basketball, just have fun, right? Which he's doing. He never really wanted to win a championship. He's not out here to win championships. He's not Kobe. He's not LeBron. He doesn't care. For him, I want to make a lot of money. I want to go out at night. And hey, basketball's my job, but it's not that big of a deal, guys. He's the Gen Z guy of, hey, I can do what I want. I'll work. I'll make some money. I'll go have fun. That's what life's about. Enjoying time.
If he just wanted to play basketball and things weren't a big deal, he wouldn't have forced his way out of like 4 teams already.
Well, he wasn't having fun, though. That's the thing. He's looking for the fun, which is why he goes out.
more fun.
Let Tony cook. This is a great defense.
Thank you. So, with a guy who just wants to have fun, what does it matter? We're holding up these expectations that he doesn't even have on himself.
More sing-songy.
He has all these expectations, and we don't even know what he really wants inside. It's not a championship. It's just to have fun.
All right, work on that.
Call him
bit.
lazy.
Not
Call
much
him
better.
lazy. Do it. Call him lazy.
Better than
Back to you, Don.
He wants to just have fun. Why can't,
You know you want to.
You know what?
You have James Harden as being this easygoing guy that just goes with the flow.
Yeah.
He doesn't care that much, is what Tony is
That's my
saying.
whole point. We're putting all these expectations on him like he wants to win a championship.
Yep.
No, he just wants to go out to the strip club at night. They retired his jersey in the strip club.
So you're saying he has no desire to win a title?
And now
Absolutely.
say that's a problem with this country. Come on.
I want to
And then just say them.
You mentioned...
But don't really allude to what them might be. Just keep it moving.
You mentioned Gen Z, and I wanted some analysis from the crowd, Stugotz. I don't go to you here, but maybe Tony has an answer here. I don't know. You guys may have aged out on all this stuff. I am going to date myself with a celebration that I've seen now for a couple of straight
Maybe
weeks.
talk about Chicago some.
And I don't know, Stugotz, what football players are doing in what I will call, in the most fossilized version of this possible, the smell your finger celebration.
Dan, be careful.
Well, I just don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Thank you for not going
that
to me.
they're doing.
Right.
They can't do the throat slash anymore. So instead, when they're celebrating, when football players are celebrating, they are smelling, they're running a hand across their finger, and then they're shooting an arrow into the crowd. And I don't know what the celebration is.
It's called the slat, Dan. S-L-A-T-T, slat.
And is it a dance?
It's not a dance, no. It derives from other things that are maybe not as good in gang culture, doing things like that. But Young Thug, slime, slat, that's all kind of the same
I
thing.
don't like it. Not one bit.
Deshaun Watson started doing it really early, like
That's all
2018.
it's a bit of a trigger for me. I thought the whole finger thing was, got lucky with Sally at Lover's Lane. Saying gang culture. Get that out of the game. What happened to the dress code?
It's a very obscure character.
There was a dress code. David Stern implemented a dress code. And we always got to say Brad Miller as that one escape hatch. You remember that? Brad Miller. White tee. Baggy jeans.
So it's gang culture?
I mean, no. I think it's derived from something like that I was reading on when I was trying to give a really good explanation for you, Dan.
What's a slime nerd? Someone tell me what a slime nerd is. I have a tattoo that says slime nerd.
To answer your question, Dan, slat. That's all you got to say.
Okay, thank you.
Just kind of just do one of those and slat. That's it.
Tony, not a great weekend for you as a National Jags supporter.
Well, I mean, look. It was a measuring stick game, and the Jags didn't measure up to the measuring stick of a team that's really good. That's all it was. It was a measuring stick game, but they're still frisky.
That doesn't mean
sense.
anything. There have been 296 offensive games played. That was the 288th worst this season.
But Frisky.
But Frisky.
I've really seen an audience miss the mark as badly as they have with Victor Wembanyama. I'm getting miscategorized as this hater.
No, you're not.
There isn't a stronger voice of support for Victor Wembanyama in this business than me.
Mm-hmm.
No one rates Victor Wembanyama more highly than me. But unfortunately, someone has to speak up for the great game of basketball.
You are being accused of extreme levels of mental illness previously unseen in sports take commentary.
Number one, that's offensive. And number two, I think we actually have a real crisis in this country of mental illness when it comes to identity fandom. You have all these Twitter accounts. Their identities are tied up in the success of Victor Wembanyama, where they're totally missing the mark with me. No one loves him more than me. No one. No one thinks Victor Wembanyama is as good as I do. No one. To the point that he should be banned from the sport.
You've said he's bad at basketball.
That's besides the point.
That's support.
Guys, what's okay.
Mike, do you love him or do you love basketball? Because you said you loved basketball. That's
why you love it.
more.
I love basketball more. And thank God he stinks right now. Thank the Lord up above. Because our sacred, beautiful game of basketball, the sanctity is still protected because he's not good yet. He's an awful basketball player. But that day where he figures it out, it's coming.
Billy, why are you making
coming like a bullet train?
He's an awful basketball player. It's a bit much.
He's really bad. He's really terrible.
He's trying to help him out. He's telling him to get
ball
on
in
the
his
paint.
hands, good play for
No
me.
one loves him more.
No one loves him more, but I'm telling you, that day is coming, and it's coming quickly. As long as this Greg Popovich or whatever his name is called figures out how to coach him, look out.
Billy came in here today, a rare kind of radiant, given that he's halfway through an unending football season where he has to chase Stugotz around every week all over the country, and Stugotz just spends all his time rolling boogers on his finger and picking up the phone in the middle of a segment to what? Am I keeping you? Are you busy? Like, what are you doing?
No, I'm just checking out my notes to make sure, I have all my stuff together.
Yes.
I am. I mean, I'm serious.
This is a big week for see where you're at on over-unders for the season.
Yeah, yep, that's what I'm doing.
That is not what you're doing.
Notes.
He was checking his nose a minute ago.
There's a Ron Washington joke I left off. I was going to ask you his favorite soft drink. You were going to say Coke. I was going to say good guess, but no, it's Diet Pepsi. That's all. I mean,
Billy, the reason that you were radiant
the old switcheroo, Dano.
The reason that you were radiant coming in today, I think one of the greatest feelings that a person can feel is finding money in their jeans that they didn't know was in their pants in the washing machine. But you this weekend, twice, discovered things that you thought had been lost forever.
Correct.
And this discovery and this awe made
back to back, by the way.
What are these things that you thought were?
Well, Dan, great question. These are things that many people might think are inconsequential and not things that should make me so happy. But I've been on a hunt for these things for quite a long time. So I was looking, one of the things, and it's hard to describe, my wife's car's key fob thing, whatever it is, right? It has like a little plastic compartment on it. It has a secret key inside. So I guess if the battery dies, there's a secret key inside that you would take out, and then you put it in. The good people at Mazda decided this was a good idea. So then what happened is the good people at Mazda also somehow figured out, like, if you leave the key in the car sometimes, it just locks itself. Then it's very hard to get into this car. So what happened is one time that happened, the car was on, but it locked itself, and my daughter was inside, and I said,
"Oh no,
I'm gonna have to punch this glass open if I can't get this door open." So I'm there.
You got a video tape
that. Luckily I had the spares on me, so I was there, and I'm trying to, do the whole thing. As you can see, here's the key fob.
How horrified were you as this?
I
is
was
happening?
panicking,
No,
obviously,
I'm sure,
and that's my
yes.
normal state. So imagine that intensified. So I'm there panicking. And then eventually, I'm like, oh, I can rip this thing open and I could get the manual key and do it because the good people at Mazda figured out this hack.
The good people
at
Lou Backroad Mazda.
Yeah. So I think this was actually Palmetto 57th Mazda.
Ooh, Gunther.
Was that where it was? No, it was the one. No, it's Brickle Mazda. Shout out to Brickle Mazda.
Brickle Mazda.
Anyway.
I'd like him to be our new executive producer, by the way.
So in this panic, the plastic like housing of the thing falls off. The little back door of this thing falls off where the secret key compartment is. And then I left and I didn't realize until hours later. And I was like, I can't go back. That's gone forever. And now this is a lease. When I return this car, they're going to charge me $6,000 for this little plastic door.
That's so true, by the way.
Yep.
It's such what they do to people.
I even bought this little silicone like housing case for it they used to put on like Nokias.
It's a grip.
For
You guys are so right. Like my key costs like $500 or something asinine. It's
like, how?
No, it's only because they can do that to you because you need a key.
It's this little plastic door that's on the back of it. So like the car is due in like a year, and for the last like year, I've been stressing out. What am I going to do in a year when this is due? I don't have it. I don't think the little silicone casing I bought is going to suffice. They're going to charge me thousands of dollars. Do I just say that I want to keep the car to avoid, like, do I spend more thousands of dollars to avoid them figuring out that I lost this piece of plastic? I looked on the internet, I couldn't find a replacement anywhere.
It's gouging, correct? This is
It's
a
overpayment.
worst way.
It's a crime.
This is a
These
criminal
people should be
action
going
by
to
the
Guantanamo
good
Bay.
the good
The
people
good
at
people at
Mazda.
Mazda, yeah.
The good people.
all salespeople
Put it on
that
the poll, please, Juju, at LeBatard
Come
Show.
from Mazda.
Should the good people at Mazda
Well,
all go to
Don't
Guantanamo?
put that. Maybe they'll be sponsors one day.
Guantanamo?
Hook daddy up with a
It seems
free car or
extreme, but this
something.
is a straight gouging.
It's not them. They're just following the rules.
Everyone this.
too, by the way.
All of the car companies are doing this. They're stealing our money.
Well, and then I also lost my watch, my Apple Watch that you can see I'm now wearing.
The watch.
So this is what happened with that, is that when I was about to have my second daughter, I said, you know what, I want to put on the watch to make sure that I see what my heart rate is when the baby's born, because I'm sure it's going to be something astronomical. So I wanted to document this.
so weird, by the way.
Why?
It's great.
I want to see what my heart
But
rate
did
is
it
at.
jump at all, or was it the same?
I lost the watch. I couldn't find it. Like a week beforehand, I lost the watch. I couldn't figure out where it was. So like for months now, I was like, I know this is in my house somewhere. I can't find it anywhere. I checked the nightstand. I checked my car. I checked my wife's glove compartment. I've checked every place. I've checked every backpack that I've ever taken. I had another backpack. I spilled a Coke in it when I was on jury duty. It was a whole mess. So I looked everywhere to see where this watch could be. So I've given up on these two things, right? So then yesterday, I'm in my wife's car. I'm a passenger. I'm in the front passenger seat of the car, and I'm like cleaning it out because there's like water bottles and all this stuff. And then I see this piece of plastic, and I go, "Oh, this can't be. This cannot be
What
the
a
piece
delight.
of plastic
What
that
a
I think it
great
is."
Sunday.
Because I thought that I lost it at the OBGYN when we were going for a doctor's visit. So I was convinced that it was on the floor of the parking lot. So I find it. I'm like, no way. And I'm just like going like this, ruffling through my keys, all excited. I was like, will it fit? Like I was like King Arthur. So I was going to see if I could pull the sword from the stone. So I go, I take off the silicone thing, I put it on. It slides right on. I go, it's a miracle. I was so excited. My wife could not care less. I was so excited. I'm like, do you know what I just found? Do you know how great this is? You won't believe this. I just found the piece of plastic that's been missing for months for your key. That was going to cost us probably thousands of dollars. We were never going to get rid of this car because I was not going to pay that. We would have kept this car until the day that I die, the day I meet my maker, to not give them money for that piece of plastic. And then I swear, Dan, I swear to goodness, I told her right then after that, I said, you know what? I bet you now I find my watch. I told her just like that. And then I opened the glove compartment and I start ruffling around. I've looked in that glove compartment no less than 6 times.
No.
I look in there and I go
No.
like this and I just pull it out and I hold it up. I go, see, I found it.
Unbelievable.
Great day.
Hot streak.
Then my bed broke at night in the middle of the night.
Hell yeah.
Well,
By the way,
not like that.
Baby.
By the way, the good people at Ford have an app that's on your phone here that you can actually start your car and
not
unlock
car
your car.
commercial.
Or the even better people at Arrigo Dodge. We now pause for station identification.
Where's Gus Machado?
That's an obnoxious thing that cars do now. The whole start your car. Like this guy, I'm at lunch and say, I got to start my car. So I can go out. It's like, I'll start my car when I get in it. Okay.
I mean, if it's a hot day, if it's 90 degrees,
It's
you
fine.
can start
You know
your
what?
car
The air
and
goes.
AC you come on.
Yeah, and the air's on for a minute. Guess what? I'm cooled down.
Yeah, but cool it down for a minute before you get in. Why
It's just
not?
an obnoxious. It's an obnoxious thing when I'm walking up to the car and I see like the car start. It's just obnoxious. It's obnoxious.
In 140-degree heat, if you've got black leather seats and can start your car to
Courtesy
cool
of
it off.
Arrigo Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram. That steering wheel. Oh my, burn your
Your
hands.
hamstrings, if you're wearing shorts, you
Those
got to cool
short shorts
the
there,
car
Dano.
off. You made me think of this, though, Billy, because I made a purchase recently that I can imagine you making. And you
A silicone key fob holder?
No.
Oh.
I read a horrifying story about an old woman who was headed out on the ferry that goes to Fisher Island that only takes cars on the ferry. The old woman was in her car, drove off, and drowned.
I saw that.
Yeah, and after
Not
that
it happened. I saw the search. It was very traumatic.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a horrifying way to go. She could not get out of her car, and the car just sank to the bottom of the sea. So I purchased one of these things that breaks windows from the inside.
It's like a little hammer, right?
In the event it happens to you.
Hold on. Now we're speaking my language. I got 2 of those. What does yours look like?
It's a big orange. It looks like a big orange wrench.
Oh, the silicone one? Or the spherical one? Did it have also has the cutter, and then it has a beacon on it and a flashlight?
I am ready to cut myself out of a trapped cave situation.
That's an emotional buy, man.
With this tool. Yes,
No,
thank you,
it's an essential. You need to have one of those in every single car that you have.
A lot
If
of
you have
canals in
and
Miami.
every car of a loved one. You know, my wife actually used that thing this weekend. I swear to goodness, she used it this weekend, and she cut
Second
a tag
time.
off of her shirt using that knife. And I was like, well, and she's like, it works. I go, yeah, it has to work. That's supposed to cut a seatbelt. If that doesn't cut a tag, we're going to have big problems.
But when you said you locked your baby in your car,
No, the car locked itself. I did not.
your baby was in the car, in a locked car.
For a
and
very short amount of time, the car was on.
Now who's the bad parent?
You wanted to lock your child in a car
Lock
with
is
an
strong. He
iPad
did not
in,
lock.
a,
See, this is-
in a
that was crazy.
garage
Come on.
with no circulation
A
and no
garage? That is such
ventilation.
This guy's such a liar.
That's such a weird way of saying that.
There's ventilation in this garage.
No,
the fact
I
that Stu got
said-
smoked
car
in the
was gonna
garage
be
is crazy
on.
to me. Their air goes nowhere.
If you have an accident, after 911, call 411.
that thing can break open my windshield and all my
I wonder.
glass.
And
Do
if-
you
No,
think it can?
It can.
Who's tested it?
And if you scratch
Let's
your
test it.
cornea,
Let's do it on Dan's
Yes.
car.
Baskin Palmer Eye Institute, ranked #1 in the nation.
Let's test it on one of your cars.
Lock me in your car,
Yeah,
see
no.
if I can get out.
Yes, and any one of your cars available for this, we will see how quickly I can get out of your car. We will film it. We will see how quickly I can shatter the glass
What an odd
with
purchase.
my orange ball peen hammer of a window shattering device that I could be busting devices. I could be busting windows all over this parking garage.
If you hurt yourself, go to UHealth.
It seems dangerous, right? Because then you just have like shards of glass everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, not as dangerous as sinking to the bottom of the sea trapped in your car because you can't get out of the windows because you think you're going to break the windows with your feet, vigorously breaking it with.
Yeah, not by much.
You know, if you just open the door when the pressure is equal on both sides, it should just open and you should go
You
out.
don't think of that when you're
Totally
sinking to the
Yeah,
bottom
you
of
have
the
to be- You have to
sea.
be composed to do that.
Billy doesn't understand how panic works.
In pitch darkness.
No one understands better than I.
Register that on Life Wallet.
But you acting like you'd be so calm.